Hello friends, welcome to the Python Basics series. This is the tutorial 2, and in this tutorial we will learn about the variables and data types in Python. Okay, so let's create another file. I'll name it var underscore data types .py. Okay, so what is variable? Variable is a named memory location which is used to store the data value. Okay, for example, name is a variable, and here I stored John in name. Okay, if I print this and execute the program, it will display John. Okay, so this is just a variable. Now we store different type of data values in these variables. Okay, so let's talk about data types in Python. Okay, so let's talk about them one by one. So first is numeric data type. Okay, numeric means it can be integer, floating point, complex. Okay, so let's take two numbers and create two variables, num1 and num2, which will store two values. So here we created num1, it stores a numeric value 10, and another variable num2, and it will store 20. Okay, so now display their addition, num1 plus num2. Okay, $30. So these two values are of integer type. If I write here 10.23 and execute the program, it will display 30.23. So now comes the complex number. So complex number must be in this form: a plus b j. Okay, now this is the real part and this is imaginary part. To make it a complex number, all we have to do is this. Okay, so here we are doing the sum of floating number and a complex number, so it should display 30.23 plus 1j. Okay, that's it. So this is complex number. There are some functions which explicitly convert value from of one data type to another data type. Okay, so like this is a floating value, so if I want to convert it to integer, then I will just do this. Okay, again execute 10, so this converted into integer. Again, if I want to convert it into complex number, okay, let's remove this. So here we have two values, num1 and num2, and we want to convert them into complex number. So the first, this is the num1, which it will represent the real value, and this will represent the imaginary value. Okay, let's execute. This is it. So this is called explicitly type conversion. Okay, so next is Boolean data type. Okay, so Boolean data type has only two values. It can be either true or false. Okay, let's do its one example. Okay, so output, we have created a variable output, and let's do one thing, that 10 is less than 5, and print it out. Okay, false. And if I say 10 is greater than 5, it should display true. This is Boolean data type in Python. Next data type in Python is sequence. A sequence represents a group of elements in Python. There are 6 types of sequence. We will talk about them one by one, and the first is string. Okay, so for example, we have created a variable name and assigned a value John, and it is between these double quotes, so this is called strings. Okay, so let's print my name is okay. So my name is John. Okay, so this is string. Now we can perform different operation on string, like we can extract a particular part from this string, or we can or in other words, we can say we can create substring from the given string. Okay, sen sentence. Okay, so if I want to display the first character, okay, so it starts with 0 to n minus 1. Indexing start from 0, so it will display m. Okay, and we can also if we want to display more than one character, then we can use a range, give a range, like if we want to display only 2 characters, 0 and 1, 0 to 1, then it will display my here, my. Okay, 0 1 2 3 3 4 5 6. Okay, so it will print name. And if I want to print or extract a substring from the string starting from 3 to n, then I will just do this. Okay, name is John. So this is one of the type of sequence data type in Python. it is not necessary that you have to use the double quotes. Even if I use single quotes, it will work the same. Okay, so even if I want to display the multiple lines, like my name is John and I live in New York. Okay, so what will I do? I will use the triple quote. Okay, now name is John, I live in New York. Okay, we can also do some operations, like if you want to print this statement 2 times, then just do this. My name is John, I live in New York. My name is John, I live in New York.
Okay, so the next is bytes. Yes, bytes data type. The bytes data type represents a group of byte numbers, just like an array does. Okay, so a byte number is any positive number from 0 to 255. Why 0 to 255? Because it is 2 to the power 8, which ranges from 0 to 255, and it byte number represents only positive integer and it cannot store negative numbers. Let's take an example. Suppose we created a list of few bytes. Okay, so it is a list of byte numbers. So to print the first value, what we will do, okay, this is to represent the third value in the list. Yes, so this is byte data type. Okay, so the next type of sequence is byte array. Okay, so the byte array data type is similar to bytes data type. The difference that the bytes type array cannot be modified, but the uh, byte array type array can be modified. It means any element or all the elements of the byte array type can be modified. Let's understand this with the help of an example. Okay, so here we have a list of numbers, and now we are going to convert this list into byte array type. Okay, so there is a function byte array and we'll pass. Okay, now here if I change this to here I have replaced third element with 10. Okay, so this is the main difference, that byte array data type allows us to modify its elements. That's it. Okay, so the fourth type of sequence data type in Python is list. Let's clear this. Okay, so what is a list in Python? List is similar to array in C or Java, and it represents a group of elements. So the main difference between a list and an array is that a list can store different types of element at the same time. Let's take an example. Okay, Nick, John. Okay, so here we have a list of 5 elements. Here we have a list of 5 elements. Okay, so now let's loop it. Okay, so you don't need to worry about the loop. We will cover it in the upcoming tutorials. Okay, so let's execute this. Yes, it printed all the elements one by one. So this is list data type in Python. And the next is tuple. Tuple is similar to list, but what is the difference between these two is that the elements in the tuple are separated by comma and enclosed in parentheses. Okay, so let's name it tuple. So here, instead of square bracket, it will be enclosed in parentheses. Okay, so now the main difference: the list elements can be modified, but the tuple elements cannot. That means a tuple can be treated as a read-only list. So it is a read-only list. Okay, so let's take an example. So here we have this tuple. Okay, let's loop it. It worked perfectly, just like list. Now if I try to change the third element, okay, produced error. That's why the tuples are read-only list. We cannot modify their elements. Okay, but there we can perform the slicing operations on tuple just like list. For example, uh, if I want to display these two elements, so I can slice them from this entire tuple. Let's okay, so I sliced out 2 elements from the tuple. Okay, so the next type of sequence data type is range. The range data type represents a sequence of numbers. The numbers in the range are not modifiable. To create a range of numbers, we can simply write a range and the number. For example, if I write here 10, it will create a number. It will create a range starting from 0 to 9. Okay, let's print through loop. Okay, it will create a sequence of numbers, generally a range from starting from 0 to 9. What if I want to specify the starting point and the ending point? Then all I have to do is like 10 to 20. Okay, let's see. It printed from 10 to 19. Okay, now again, if I want to uh, be more specific, like it is automatically by default it is incremented by +1 by 1. And what if I want to increase it by a specific value? Then okay, so let's clear this. 10 plus 2 12 14 16 18. Okay, so this is range data type in Python.